Catholic celebration thing where I'm officially an adult and at the church. And I really couldn't get a video out because, well, I was in mass. So I apologize for that. But today we're gonna be continuing this little thing on World War I anti-tank weaponry with the K-Bullet. I think the K-Bullet is really interesting. Mainly because my favorite video game of all time is Battlefield 1. And if you've played Battlefield 1, this thing just destroys cavalry, armored cars. But just like in Battlefield 1, we'll soon learn that it's not very effective against tanks. First, though, the history of the ammunition. So the K-Bullet was designed by the German military as an armor-piercing round to be used in a standard Mauser bolt-action rifle like the widely used Gewehr 98. Sorry. It was widely used during World War I, especially against armored cars and stuff like sniper shields. It was actually designed for that purpose, for sniper shields. Because that was a major problem, because World War I was really one of the first major wars where snipers were in, major use. And sniper shields and, little metal plates blocking machine guns, those things were serious issues, so an armor-piercing round would get rid of the problem. And then once armored cars came into place, they were even more useful. There were various versions made, including a tracer version, a practice version that self-destructs after a certain range, and even Polish interwar copies. It was also used during World War II and was a primary armor-piercing ammunition source of the Panzerkampfwagen 1. My boy over here, Panzer 1. As for the actual effectiveness, the bullet was said to have like a 1 in 3 chance to penetrate 12-ish millimeter armor at a range of 100 yards. This 100 yards, though, is pretty close to a target, especially since a rifle at the time had sights going all the way out to 500 or 1,000 yards. So, I mean, that is really close, honestly. Not to mention, it's a bolt-action rifle, and using this ammunition will turn it into a one-shot rifle. So each shot really counts, and every single shot only having a 1 in 3 chance to penetrate that armor is not very good. And while armored cars, of course it varies on armored car, but a lot of them would have less than 10 millimeters of armor, so it was pretty effective on them if they could actually hit it. But against tanks, it just wouldn't have any effect. In the 1917 Battle of Messines Ridge, these rounds were in use against British tanks, which had a 14 millimeter average, and they proved ineffective. They just weren't good enough by that point. This did leave the Panzer I in World War II to have very little anti-tank capability, though that is expected from a tank cat. I mean, you can't really blame it, only has machine guns for that. For our final assessments, this is going to probably see repeated in a lot of armor-piercing rounds. It was very effective when it began production, and it was very effective when it started being made and was designed, easily tearing holes through metal shields, and it was even decently effective in the years after its design against armored cars, assuming you had enough ammo and some luck. However, once actual tanks came around, it was just ineffective. That's a problem with a lot of armor-piercing cartridges. Eventually, the new vehicle comes out with more armor and suddenly becomes ineffective. And having only one shot before reloading meant that one shot had to count, and that shot just didn't anymore. I feel like if it was a machine gun, it would have been a lot more effective, and this is seen by World War II as in the double-barreled turret of the Panzer I. This led to it being a lot more effective because, instead of hitting 3 bullets in a minute, because you have to reload after each shot, you get 3 bullets in a second. So it was a lot more effective in a rapid-fire roll because that 1 in 3 chance, that means you're hitting like one bullet every second, right? And that's a lot more effective, and that means it's a lot more effective against enemy vehicles. But it wouldn't be able to take out any tanks at the time. But honestly, what can you expect from a tank? That's not its purpose. The Panzer I was actually designed as a training tank, as later discussed. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Next time, I'm not actually sure what I'm gonna be talking about. We are actually approaching the last bit of really World War I. It's gonna be over soon, yeah. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video and see you next time. Peace.